Crud, we're live. Holy cow. Sorry about that. Jeez. I will explain what happened here momentarily, okay? Hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Thursday night newsroom, that pre-weekend thing we do where we get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. How you doing? I hope your day has gone well. Mine has been spectacular as always. Can't complain one little bit, and even if I did, no one would want to hear it anyway. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and I am sometimes known in social media as the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I'm called the kid in the lid, sometimes referred to as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am, above all else, your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, as always, please do me some favors. If you are not a subscriber to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Subscribe. We would really like the help. We are a going little concern. We'd like to be a going big concern. And while you're at it, subscribe on YouTube and on Rumble. Also, leave a comment in chat for this live stream, and also hit the thumbs up button. It really does help push the algorithm out there, believe it or not. While you're at it, share the link around with your friends and hit the bell for notifications. We always want to make sure that you are always aware when new material is coming out, be it a video or a live stream. All right. Let us see who is in the house so far. Oh, my goodness. The Wingnuts are fully engaged. Totally engaged. I tell you the truth. Wait a minute. What's some of this stuff here? What do you mean? I was on time. I started my live stream at 7 o'clock. Daggone it. Oh my gosh. Then you got TBA chime in. No, I need a beer to think straight. Jeez. The odds for maybe is 0-0. Wow. I tell you the truth. No, the amount of respect that I get from my audience members, I tell you, totally the amount of respect. All right. Who else is here so far? Z Highness is in the house. Hello, darling. Mwah. Kicking names and taking... Wait, that's not right. Yeah, I hear you, darling. I hear you. Hello, Lana. Glad to have you in the house. Mwah. Yeah, I know. This is exactly what happens when you live stream. Kawan is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Boom. And everybody else is starting to settle in slowly but surely. Gypsy's here tonight. Hello, baby. Glad to see you, darling. And you are looking as fine as always. I tell you the truth. Oh, my, oh, my. Yeah. Now you're getting on me from a 5 o'clock shadow. Jeez. I can do nothing to make the Wingnuts happy. This is absurd, people. Mr. Scott Awesome is in the house. Hello, Mr. Scott Awesome. Good as... Oh, no, my dear. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Aw, not good. Prayers for you, my darling. Oh, dear. And in all seriousness, you know my DMs are open. If you need to drop me a line, feel free to do so. But yeah, we're glad to have... Oh, Midmo's in the house. Hello, Midmo. Fist bump to you. Goodness me. Glad to see all y'all here tonight. Wow, it's what? Stop it. You over there. How am I, you ask? Pooped. I'm pooped. Goodness me. Now, be nice. Be nice. She chooses to be on YouTube, so there you go. You know, be nice to the lady. You know, gee whiz, y'all. She chooses to be on YouTube. That's up to her. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, glad to have all you guys here tonight. And, yeah, dude, I'll definitely drink to that. We are all pooped. It's been a fast week, but a long week. It has been crazy out there. Absolutely crazy out there. Anyhow, we're glad to have you guys here tonight. It is almost the weekend, and y'all going to be getting some rest. I'm going to be getting some rest. I'm looking forward. I'm going to be doing a little traveling this weekend, so Front Porch Brunch is postponed. And we'll be getting to some of that a little bit later in the show. Well, no, I'll just go ahead and get into it right now while I got you guys coming in the room. I will be traveling this weekend, so Front Porch Brunch is postponed. I am also, as soon as it gets here, and I thought it was going to be here today, but it'll be here tomorrow, I will be transferring data off computers. We're getting an upgrade in some of our hardware here at Front Porch Productions, and we're getting a new computer. And so we're going to be down for a couple of days next week. At a minimum, we're going to be down probably through Wednesday. If we get the computer back in time, I will do a live stream Thursday night, but odds are I'm not going to have the new computer back ready to roll until probably Thursday night at the earliest. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know this Saturday, no Front Porch Brunch, and more than likely no Tuesday night newsroom, as we are in the middle of a computer upgrade. So just let you know. I'm not taking it to the Geek Squad at Best Buy. Actually, there is a fellow on the west end of my hometown. You might be familiar with his shop, but he does this sort of thing. So, you're just gonna ride my back about this, aren't you? Just gonna ride my back about it. Listen, if I could have gone out in the backyard and picked a few $1,000s off the money tree that's growing in my backyard, don't you know I would have done it to buy me something other than a Ryzen 5, okay? So you just keep that in mind. You know, we ain't all, rolling in the Benjamins, buddy. Just saying. All right. Okay. But anyway, that's what I've got in the way of housekeeping announcements. Yeah, you and me both, we want that money tree. Anyway, glad to have you guys here tonight. We're going to jump into the merry memes because I got a blue slew of them. WWG1 and TBA have absolutely lost their minds. Absolutely lost their minds. Providing memes, making for laughs, doing all kinds of good stuff. And, people ask all the time, what is it going to be like when the world ends? I mean, what's really going to happen here? I mean, is it going to be like one person finally loses it and that's how it all starts? Well, I don't know. I really don't, and I'll tell you why. Why do I have a feeling that when the world does end, that it's going to be something fairly innocent that starts it all off. Something that you wouldn't expect. Something that when it does happen, you're going to be like, really? That's what did it? And a lot of people theorize, what's it really going to be? What's it going to all be about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, one person's come up with an answer for what it might be like when the world finally does end. And it's going to be way more innocent than you realize. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So if that big red button gets pushed by the most innocent of creatures, you will begin to understand why. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. The rapture apparently happened on well, if it did, then I got big problems because I'm still down here. And hello to you, Rhonda. Mwah. Good to see you in the house tonight. Yes, indeed. It'll be something very innocent that ends the world. All right. What else do we have out here tonight? What else in the way of the other merry memes? Speaking of cats, people ask me all the time, Brian, I know you're not a pet lover, but look, when it comes to cats, is there any good way to get along with a feline? And I've given this a lot of thought. There is actually a way where human beings and cats can coexist. They can actually find a way to be able to live at peace with each other. And the process goes a little something like this. when it comes to dealing with a cat, your first responsibility is to give the cat whatever it wants. And then your second responsibility is to just stop right after that. Okay. So if you want to know how to get along with a cat, number one, give them whatever they want. And number two, always remember rule number one is in place. More often than not, this will help you get along with members of the feline world. That's all I'm saying. And your life will be better served that way. I tell you what. Anyway. Well, yeah, coexist with a cat. Exactly. Goodness me. Yeah, gosh. Tell you what. Anyway. All right. What else do we have out here tonight? What else do we have? Let us see. Ah, yes. With what happened recently in Dallas, among other things that are going on in the country right now, there is how do I want to put this? There is a heightened concern and or awareness for trying to identify illegal aliens here in the country. Because, I mean, look, if someone thinks that someone is here and they shouldn't be, not that we're trying to get in anybody's business, but if it's kind of obvious that, this person is not here properly, okay, then you kind of got a responsibility to do something about that, I would think. So, there's a new emphasis now on trying to figure out ways of how to identify someone who is an illegal alien. On the other hand, we should also try to be as vigilant as possible in determining that someone is not an illegal alien. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that, call me crazy, but I don't think this one came from south of the border. I could be absolutely wrong about this, but I've got a strange feeling that this one probably not from Central or South America that came across the border illegally. Now, could be from Ukraine. I get that. Or maybe Eastern European lineage. But I'm not so sure that I would automatically go out and say that that this one is an illegal alien. I think this one we might want to give the benefit of the doubt. Not saying, but I'm just saying. Oh, goodness me. So, yes, do your best as always to try to be as discerning as you can about who is and who is not an illegal alien. And the world will be a little bit better place for it. Let's see. What else do we have here? No. Hang on a minute. I see some heavy breathing going on the Rumble side over here. Okay. First of all, wipe the drool off your mouth, okay? Yeah, exactly. Down boy is right. Well, now, Lana, there's a thought. There is a thought she could be from Brazil or even Argentina. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Oh, goodness me, salty old farts in the house. How you doing, Salty? Hang on a minute. I saw what you just dropped in on the other side. Give me 1 second here. Because, I want to be fair to all you guys all you guys and ladies that are putting in memes. Hang on, man. Let me pop in and see what you've given us. Oh, yes. Yeah, I saw this too. I'm sure you guys saw this as well. The other day when FBI Director Kash Patel was testifying in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, he and Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey got into it. And, a lot of people saw the footage. However, there is some additional footage that people may not have seen, and it goes a little something like this. Wait a minute. What? Did he throw a green dildo at the senator? What is that? Oh, my God. Oh, on repeat, he just, look at that. Backhands that thing, clear across the room, hits Cory Booker right in the forehead. Oh, my word. All right, I am taking this down right now. We are not going to countenance this kind of political of violence, people. We're not doing it. We're not countenancing this kind of political violence. My goodness. Yeah, Salty's good for that sort of thing. Uh, well, Rhonda, you're not wrong. That's all I'm saying. Goodness me. Tell you what, you cannot take the wingnuts anywhere. You give them highlights and prime time in chat. Now look what I'm getting for it. Oy vey. Well, on the other hand, they've always been like this. I mean, what are you going to do? It's just, a lot of comments have been made about a lot of different things recently, but there's been a lot of commentary about the differences between the generations, and it's becoming a more serious discussion now. The baby boomers are getting older. Millennials are coming on, and right in the middle of all that is Gen X. And people have asked for years, why is it that people in Generation X are so... Is irritated the right word? Is irritated too strong of a word? I don't know. But people ask all the time, why is Gen X always seem like they're upset about something? Well, honestly, folks, if you stop and think about it, look at it from Gen X's perspective. We went out years ago and, we replaced our record collections with tape collections. And then we replaced the tape collections with CD collections that were replaced with MP3 collections. And now we need a subscription to listen to music. I mean, Gen X is basically like, the world's too complicated. Goodness me. What the heck? What the heck? Yeah, now you begin to understand why we Gen Xers are a little bit upset. Every time we think we got something understood, somebody changes the rules of the game. I tell you the truth. Oh my gosh. Just absolutely nuts. Yeah, you wonder why we're so torqued off about things. Weesh. Anyway. All right, what else have we got going on? Things to comment about out there. It never fails to amaze me how two people can communicate with each other, but something just gets lost in translation. And out of that comes huge misunderstandings. And if you want a really good example of how something like that works, folks, if you want to understand how something truly gets lost in translation, well, ladies and gentlemen, check this one out.
I love it when people think that I'm stupid. I love when people think that I'm stupid, because tell me why I'm at the mechanic shop and he talking about I need a Cadillac converter, but I drive a Jeep. Make it make sense. Think I'm stupid. Ladies, when y'all going down to the mechanic shops, take somebody with y'all. Your brother, your uncle, your daddy, your boyfriend, somebody. Stop going to these mechanic shops by yourselves, because they know we don't know anything about cars. So they're trying to give us any type of services we don't even need. Outrageous prices.
You got it.
Because I don't understand. Make it make sense.
Come on.
A Cadillac converter. I don't even have a Cadillac. A Jeep converter, maybe. They think we stupid, ladies. Don't let these mechanics play in your face. And it be the shade tree ones all the way down to the dealerships. They all try to play in our faces. So next time, when I go get my car fixed, best believe I'm going to have somebody with me, because I'm not playing with these people today. I'm not playing with these people. They think they got me, but they ain't got me.
Well, we got you, sister, and we totally understand. And you know what? No one should make you buy, nobody should make you buy a Cadillac converter unless you absolutely need one. So we're with you. We stand with you in solidarity. No Cadillac converters unless it's absolutely necessary. That's right, daggone it. There you go. Yep. And we wonder why we cannot get along anymore. Jeez. All right, what else do we have? Contributions to the show tonight. Oh yeah. Well, as you might expect, Donald Trump and Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s announcement has caused quite the stir. It's making people all over the world figure out how they want to react and what they should communicate about, what they ought to talk about. And it's everywhere now. Everybody's asking the question, what does all this mean? This study about how Tylenol may be linked, I mean, for example, or some people even actually asking, is it a distraction? I don't know about you guys. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe talking about the Tylenol is a distraction from other things. I don't know. You guys tell me. But apparently, some people think that it could be an interesting way to distract the public. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, it's. I mean, that announcement the other day from the White House absolutely has stirred the drink. Everybody is talking. Everybody, and matter of fact, interesting questions are being asked. And not just about Tylenol and pregnant women, but people are also asking, what is the effect of Tylenol in other situations? I mean, for example, could Tylenol have an effect on, on pregnant men? We're just asking for, mutual friends of ours out there. So, you know, could Tylenol affect pregnant men the same way that it could affect, pregnant women? We don't know. I mean, maybe this is another reason for us to study the issue even further. Because I mean, look, we now know that there's a causal effect between, in some cases, between Tylenol and pregnant women. The question now becomes, is Tylenol going to affect pregnant men in the exact same way? We don't know. We'll find out. So hopefully we'll get answers to these questions, because these are things that truly we have got to find out about. I know. And you know what the funny thing about it is? And we're going to get into part of this here in a minute. The discussion about Tylenol and its effects on some women in pregnancy. You've known about it. I'll bet you other people around you have known about it for years. As a matter of fact, I saw, and this is kind of off topic, but it's not. I saw some information the other day where Tylenol, back in, I think it was 2017, tweeted, we're advising you not to take, this during pregnancy. I mean, I don't have the tweet immediately in my fingers, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. So my point is this. The American people, in their shared experience and their common sense, know something to be either truthful or of a truth. Okay. They may not have scientific data or whatever to back it all up, but from their shared life experience and from their own common sense, they figured things out. Okay. Or as TBA says, maybe we should read the package insert. Okay, fair point. But my point is this. We know it. Then all of a sudden, government catches up about 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, and now, the government says it, therefore it must be true. No, it's been true for a while. We've known it in our common sense and our shared experience, but now the government's just like giving blessing to what is our knowledge. It just kind of amazes me sometimes how much credibility government at all levels is given, when the reality is they're behind what's actually going on. And when I say behind, I mean behind the times. Not necessarily that they're the cause of something, but they're behind the information. They're like 5 or 6 years too late. It just always kind of amazes me. It really does. Anyway, back to our contributions from our audience this evening. And the reaction to the Trump administration and this announcement on Tylenol is just more proof that if Donald Trump tells you to do one thing, then odds are people on the political left are going to go out and do the exact opposite. I mean, just for the sake of example, if Donald Trump told you not to drink, well, okay, maybe this is a little extreme, but you guys kind of get the idea, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, all right, let me put to you this way. Would you really be shocked to find out that liberals were actually doing this? If Donald Trump said, don't drink your urine, Would you be shocked to find out there's not a community of folks out there that are absolutely doing it just because they hate Donald Trump so much? I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. True dat, my dear. True dat. Goodness me. Goodness me. All right. What else? What else? Oh, by the way. I mean, a lot of people gave Donald Trump grief for the fact that he was bashing Tylenol and saying, it's not good, don't take it, yada, yada, yada. And people gave him a lot of grief about the things he was not endorsing. However, Trump has come out in recently since the Tylenol news conference and given a rousing endorsement for something. As a matter of fact, we even have an audio clip of that. Hope you folks enjoy this as much as we did. But here is Donald Trump making his latest product endorsement, and it's a product that everybody can use. Doesn't matter if you're old, young, white, black, male, female, doesn't matter. Everybody can use this one.
Well, it is my complete honor and privilege to make this endorsement. I've got along with very well with oxygen. I call it air. Some people call it O2. I call it oxygen, air. It's a beautiful thing when I'm endorsing breathing. We love to breathe. It's a tremendous practice, in and out. I went to the doctor, and my doctor looked at me. He said, "Sir, you have the most beautiful lungs. They're so big. They're so beautiful. They inflate. They deflate. They're wonderful. In and out. Nobody's ever seen lungs like this before, sir." So I said, "Now's a beautiful day to endorse oxygen." We love breathing, right? And you have these stupid people on the left, very stupid, very sick. These are very sick people. You're not a sick person, but they're very sick people. And they're going to hear me endorse it, right? They're going to hear me say, "Oh, Donald Trump likes to breathe." You know who else breathed? Hitler. Hitler breathed. And they're going to hold their breath. And that's what we're hoping for. We're looking at it. So we are endorsing air. It's a tremendous thing. We want you to breathe as much of it as possible. Big, beautiful, clean air. And keep doing that. As long as you live, keep breathing that beautiful air. It's a tremendous thing to do. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you.
Well, Donald Trump has come out with his latest endorsement. So, folks, if you can find your way to getting a hold of some oxygen, I strongly recommend you check it out. Truly, truly do. Oh yeah. Going back to that one meme about Trump saying don't drink the urine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and thank you, sir. Yes, by all means, hit that like button, daggone it. We'd like to make sure that we get as much attention on this little channel as possible. So yes, we do appreciate that. All right, 2 or 3 more, and then we'll get into some topical things I want to talk about tonight. This show is going to be a little bit different. And you're wondering, really? You're actually going to do a good show? No, stop it. And speaking of stop it, did you guys hear about the health scare that Hillary Clinton had the other day? No, I'm serious. She was appearing on was it The View? No, it was Morning Joe on MSNBC, and people didn't realize it at the time, but she was having a health scare live on the air. It was very well covered up, much like the 9/11 memorial back in 2016. But yeah, apparently she was having something of a health scare. According to reports, Hillary was having these tremendous headaches, and they could not figure out what the heck was going on with her. We've got a little bit of the audio, and I don't know. You folks see if you can tell what happened to Hillary during that. Why was she experiencing headaches? I don't know. Check this out.
I had no idea when I was in public life and listening to the jokes that were made about me and the attacks that were, coming from people like Jimmy Kimmel and others, that I could have called up the head of the FCC and said, "Take them off the air. I don't like what they're saying."
Yeah, I mean, poor Hillary. I mean, look, I feel bad for the lady for a lot of different reasons, but now she's got these headaches and no one can figure out why. So, as you're saying prayers for folks out there in the world, say a prayer for Hillary Clinton. Like I said, for some strange reason, during that appearance, she was experiencing these awful, awful headaches, but no one can figure out why. Now that's true. What that has to do with Hillary Clinton's headache during that appearance on Morning Joe, I have no idea. But yes, WWG1, you're absolutely correct. Cats indeed are smart. So there you go. All right. What else have we got here? Let's see. Not necessarily a funny, but it does. I mean, we're always trying on the electronic front porch to share educational thoughts. And here's one for you. Take this one and think about it. A wise man once said, "Be careful who you let on your ship, because some people will sink the whole ship just because they can't be the captain." And boy, is that true. That is so, so true. If some people can't be in charge, they'll try and absolutely destroy whatever it is they're involved in. So just take this one with a grain of salt and tuck it away for future purposes. You absolutely know this one's true. Totally true. All right, couple of more, and I think we're caught up with everything. Yep, two more. You guys remember watching Star Trek growing up and how smart Vulcans were? All the things the logic that they employed. Man, there are days I kind of wish we had more of that in our world, because a lot of issues would just start not being issues if we just employ that kind of like ironclad, clear-eyed logic that the Vulcans had. I mean, for example, if you applied, like let's say Mr. Spock had to deal with the question of self-defense, I really do believe I could hear him saying something quite like this, And you know what? The funny thing is, he'd be absolutely right. Totally right. So just remember, when you're trying to figure out what to do, ask yourself this question. WWSD, what would Spock do? And things will become, ladies and gentlemen, a whole lot clearer to you. I'm just saying. All right, one more, and then we'll get into our topics for the night. Especially these days, people wonder, why is it that people change so much? Or maybe not even so much they wonder why. They wonder, just how much does one change from before you go off to college, and how much, what do you like after college? And what is that like comparably to other things that you experience in your life? Well, someone put together a really good chart of comparison of the before and after between certain things that, you might indulge in this life versus what you're like after you come out of college. And you know what, folks? I don't care what they say about, drugs and alcohol. I'm pretty sure that the most dangerous substance to either be around or be a part of is the before and after of college. I mean, you go to college, you're looking normal. You come out of college, yeah. I mean, you got alcohol, you got cocaine, you got crack. Yeah, all of them could be really bad for you. But man, college truly changes you in ways you never even thought about. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So there you go. All right. I want to thank WWG1. I want to thank TBA. I want to thank everybody who's contributed to the Merry Memes tonight. As always, you guys have made the show fun to open with and a lot of good stuff to talk about. And again, I will give the same plug that I gave the other night. If you come across a meme or something you think is funny and you want to try it out, well, tag me on Twitter at this little handle right here, the Front Porch C1. And, Yeah, you're probably right, WWG1. Dr. McCutcheon can confirm that the before and after for college students, man, college will definitely change you in ways that you cannot even begin to imagine. Just saying. So yeah, if you've got a meme or you got something you think is funny and you want to share it, then by all means tag me on Twitter at TheFrontPorchC1. Get them to me as soon as you can. That way I can organize them and, we'll throw them up on the air. Host reserves the right to use or not use suggested material, but we'll do our best to try and be fair to everybody and put as much up there as we can. All right, let's get down to business. I said this live stream tonight is going to be a little bit different than some of the things I've done recently. There's going to be some news items, and those news items will lead to discussions, as they are wont to do. But there's also some topical stuff I'd kind of like to get into. I mentioned some articles that I found, or a article I found by Selena Zito on the question of America and religion in 2025. And I'd want to get into that. But I also want to get into a topic tonight that all of us think about, we talk about. And that is free speech. Two stories happened this week that one of them we all knew about. Okay. And to me, this one is in large part, a measure of butt kissing and covering your butt. Okay. And I start off with a story from thehill.com. And this story makes me mad and it makes me shake my head all at the same time. Let me pop this thing up on the screen. And you know what? You're going to get your wish, brother. We're not even mentioning the bum. We're not even going to talk about the guy. You're going to get your wish. But this story, I'm sure you guys saw it or a variation of it in some publication somewhere this week. I got a headline here from thehill.com. Google admits censorship under Biden. YouTube welcomes back MAGA. Article by Robbie Soav. We have the following. Google admitted earlier this week that its COVID-era censorship policies were enacted at the explicit behest of the Biden administration, and the company now says it will allow any content creator, now listen to this, it will allow any content creator that was silenced for this reason to return to YouTube. This is a massive win for free speech, as well as an acknowledgement that those of us who objected to the government bullying tech companies were right all along. Okay, I want to stop here for just 1 second. Okay. I think the author is absolutely correct. This is a win. On the other hand, remember what I said a minute ago about shared experience and how we know something before other people are willing to, give it credence or admit to it being true? This is one of those moments. Okay. We all have known for years, Google, YouTube, Facebook, name the platform you want, have engaged in blatant censorship. Well, now the CEO of Google, under a lot of prodding from Representative Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, has now admitted, the Biden administration, hold that thought, honey. We're going to get to that. Yeah, and we're going to get to that too. So now the CEO of Google and YouTube's like, they kind of made us do it. Anyway, let's get back to this article, and we got a little bit more of it to read, not that much, because there's some other news that goes along with this. And as always, you, my audience, are way ahead of the curve. So, going a little bit further into this article, we have the following. This new policy was announced in response to an inquiry by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, who asked Google for information about moderation decisions the company had made during the Biden years. In response, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, said in a statement that, quote, Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, the Biden administration officials continued to press the company to remove non-violative user-generated content, end of quote. Alphabet's statement goes on to accuse the Biden administration of creating a political atmosphere that sought to influence the actions of platforms based on their concerns regarding misinformation. Alphabet also notes that it has already revised its election integrity policies, which had led to the removal of content from YouTube. With this similar admission about the harms caused by the COVID policy, YouTube is now welcoming back all creators terminated under such policies to the platform. All right, let's talk about this for a minute. Okay. Yeah, they're bringing back all these content creators. So, to that end, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, Owen Schroyer, among others, when this was announced the other day, they said, okay, let's put it to the test. And all the gentlemen that I referenced signed up for YouTube accounts. Now, I don't know how far they got, okay? What I mean is, you would expect that when an Alex Jones tells you, hey, I'm starting a YouTube channel, that people would sit up and pay attention. Well, Alex did just exactly that. He started himself a YouTube channel. And what kind of odds do you lay that channel didn't last very long? Okay. Translation, how long do you think it took YouTube to take that bad boy down? Now, mind you, that story came out on, what was that? Came out today. Okay. Or maybe it was updated today, I should say. It was updated today. And no sooner, 3 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay. We've got odds on how long it took YouTube. Oh, it didn't even take them that long, folks. Did not even take them that long. No sooner did Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes and others like them, start up their YouTube channels again. And sure enough, YouTube shut them down. I mean, now, I bring this up for a lot of reasons, but I guess just to kind of dive into this subject, okay? So let's do it. Let's talk about this for a minute. Do I applaud the CEO of Alphabet, which controls Google and YouTube, for at least admitting what everybody already knew? Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. You should have done it 5 or 6 years ago. I don't give you that much credit because, frankly, you never should have allowed it to happen in the first place. Which, by the way, there's a dirty little secret in that article that you don't read about, but if you stop and think about it, YouTube channels were being taken down before Biden ever came into office. Some of this was happening in October 2020. Steve Bannon lost his channel in October 20. Bongino lost his channel in October 20. This stuff was happening under Trump. Now, not that Trump was in any way pushing for it to happen, but let's just put it this way. Somebody in the deep state was trying to make it happen. So, the argument is, oh, we were coerced into doing it. They were bullying us. No. No. Don't blame all this on Biden. You did this on your own. Okay? Oh, yeah. Salty, you're absolutely right. She freely admits they censored conservatives. Susan Wojcicki, the former head of YouTube, freely admitted that they were banning conservatives or shadow banning them. Now, so they at least admitted it. That's a step in the right direction. The problem with it is the words ring hollow. YouTube, if YouTube is genuinely serious about letting conservatives back on the platform, then there's no reason in the world why Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes should have had their channels taken down less than 24 hours after they started them up again. I'm sorry. They shouldn't. What should have been done is much like what Elon Musk did at Twitter. He comes in and just starts cleaning house. 30% of the personnel gone. Now, am I sitting here saying that Twitter is the absolutely perfect free speech platform? Of course not. Are there going to be moments that people are either shadow banned or they're under some kind of negative influence, which is suppressing the reach of their Twitter account? Of course. I mean, it's possible it's going to happen. Could the algorithm still be set up that these things happen? Sure. But my point is this. Right, wrong, or otherwise, at least Elon Musk is out there trying to make Twitter a better platform by making it free speech. Yeah, and small time, welcome in. We're glad to have you. Parler got deplatformed by Amazon Web Service. Multiple companies were working in lockstep. Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. So the words from this CEO at Google, or Alphabet as they like to call them, ring hollow to me. You will prove to me that you're serious about allowing free speech on the YouTube platform when, number one, you allow Alex Jones, Fuentes, when you allow everybody, and I mean everybody, Gavin McGinnis, Steve Bannon, when you allow everybody back on the platform and then you do a very serious, not just review, but overhaul of your policies as far as speech on this platform, okay? Because right now, you're just covering your butt, okay? In the current administration where you find yourselves, you're just covering your rear end. And Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, made a great point the other day. He was speaking with Steve Bannon, interestingly enough, and he said, what do you want to bet that if the Democrats come back into power in the White House, that you're going to see Google and YouTube completely reverse themselves from what they announced? Absolutely, they're going to. This is nothing more than good old-fashioned cover your butt. That's all it is. That's all it is. And that's what's going on here. Totally. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not impressed at all by the fact that, the CEO of Alphabet /Google /YouTube is coming out saying, "Oh yeah, we were pressured into doing this." No. You went ahead and chose to do it. You were doing this stuff before Biden ever came into office. You, Zuckerberg over Facebook, and all the rest of you were doing this before Biden ever got sworn in. And now you're trying to convince everybody, oh yeah, we're all for free speech. We'll let all these conservative, commenters back on the YouTube platform. Yeah, you're not going to do that. You're not doing it now. No sooner did Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes get their channel started back up, and you guys shut them back down again. I'll know. There's one more thing that will cause me to know that you guys are serious about free speech. The number of safe space rooms that you create for all the snowflakes at your headquarters. Okay? That's when I'll know you guys are serious. Hey, Zippy, how you doing? The algo is annoying. It should be keyword based, not man behind the curtain. Should be exportable, importable, and shareable so people can black and white list things that they like. That's fair. That's totally fair. Totally fair indeed. So yeah, I saw that story and I'm like, and by the way, thank you for the Rumble rant. I genuinely do appreciate that, sir. Sorry, I didn't see that till I flipped back over. Yeah, when Google and YouTube starts creating a lot of safe space rooms for all the snowflakes because they can't stand the fact that free speechers are back on YouTube, then I'll know you guys are serious. That's when I'll know you're serious about maybe turn this thing around. Till then, I say, hey, go with Rumble. It's not perfect, got a long way to go, but it's the best alternative we got right now. Now, all that leads me to another story, kind of free speech related. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this one as well, but Katie Hopkins. Oh my gosh, I love that woman. I love Katie Hopkins. If you don't know who she is, you need to get real familiar with her. She is a commentator from Great Britain and absolutely a gem of a lady. I mean, she does a little 1.5, 2-minute segment on Twitter on a daily basis called Batshit Bonkers Britain. Okay. Where she'll take 2 minutes and a little video and tell you what is going on in Great Britain. And believe me, Katie Hopkins has the kind of, turn it loose humor and that wonderful British charm that goes with it that absolutely makes me just love the lady. Absolutely love the lady. Okay. Well, did you guys know recently that she had been brought in to a local police station in Great Britain for an interview with the potential that she is arrested? I got a story here from the Gateway Pundit. And you know what? I'm going to drop this in chat on both sides, on YouTube and Rumble, because you guys might want to go out and read about this if you haven't heard about it yourself. All right, there it is on Rumble, and give me 1 second here, and I'll pop it in on YouTube. But yeah, you're going to want to see this. Anyway, to the story. Headline: Katie Hopkins interviewed under caution by UK police after comedy night for online communications crime of speech. Article by Margaret Flavin. We've got the following. Conservative UK media personality Katie Hopkins has been interviewed by British police and may face prison for, quote, thought crimes following an online comedy night. Okay. Going a little further into the article, according to reports, Devon and Cornwall police conducted a voluntary interview under caution with Hopkins in August at Exeter Police Station. The interview was initiated following comments during her Instagram live show called Katie's Arms. To date, no official charges have been filed. Media commentator Steve Miller shared on Twitter, quote, breaking, Katie Hopkins arrested and may face prison. Katie Hopkins has been interviewed under caution in relation to her live broadcast, Katie's Arms. She explains why she was arrested for online communication, crime of speech, and is waiting to be charged. Now, I've got a statement from Katie Hopkins, and this is rather amazing. It makes me appreciate, and don't get me wrong, we got a ways to go on making sure that free speech is truly free speech in America. But man, it makes me appreciate the freedom of speech we've got, because the British are going down a road, and have been for some time now anyway, but they're going down a road that borders on the insane. I got a statement here from Katie Hopkins. This runs about 2 minutes, but this is her statement at the police station in Great Britain. So do me a favor and check this out.
It's Tuesday, the 5th of August here at Exeter Police Station. And I, Katie Hopkins, state as follows. I have attended this interview under protest, as I was threatened with arrest if I did not attend. I consider this interview and the police investigation to be an unlawful interference with my right to freedom of expression pursuant to Article 10 ECHR Human Rights Act 1998. I reserve my position in respect of any actions I choose to take, including but not limited to a formal complaint and claim for damages against Devon and Cornwall Police. I run a comedy pub night called the Katie's Arms, live on my Instagram at 8 p.m. on Fridays for 30 minutes. I started the Katie's Arms during the idiocy of COVID lockdowns in order to help people struggling with their mental health. The Katie's Arms is now an international community of people wanting others to live their best life, laughing with me and at me. My audience choose to join me on my Instagram channel live. If anyone was offended, that is their choice. I do not republish or upload this content. It is ridiculous that my comedic speech is subject to a criminal investigation, and as such, my presence here is ridiculous. I will not answer any questions. And that was my statement to Devon and Cornwall Police today.
Now, that sets up the background of this. There's a little bit more to it, okay? Yeah, you're as usual, Gypsy, you're way ahead of me. Like I said, that's sort of the setting, but there's more to it than that. Why was she hauled in to the Devon and Cornwall Police Department? Why, you ask? Okay, I'll let her explain this in her own words. Katie Hopkins was on Roseanne Barr's live stream, okay? And they were having a gloriously good time talking to each other, as you might expect. Imagine Katie Hopkins and Roseanne Barr I mean, I haven't watched this yet, but it's one of those I've got to go and sit down for, because imagine those two women in the same microphone space together, just talking to each other. Good grief. You know the fun is going to ensue. But what was it specifically that Katie Hopkins got hauled in before the police over? You've got to check this out. This is going to cause us to have conversation. Here you go.
Fucking get back here, you cripple spastic. I'm a proper spaz. And actually, it's the last thing I got hauled into the police station for in the UK just before I got here. I was told I would either be arrested or I had to turn up for interview under caution, was because on my Katie's Arms, my pub, where I just, let rip, whatever, I called myself a spaz. And I got arrested effectively by British police because that's offensive.
Jesus.
It's demonic.
Place.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be charged against the Online Communications Act for calling myself a spaz.
I'm so terrified of going to the UK.
Yeah. Well, Roseanne, honey, if that's what happens to you in the UK, I understand why you're terrified. Okay, now just get this. She called herself a spaz. That's it. That's all Katie Hopkins did. She has an online show of which no one is required to watch it. Okay? No, yeah, and I love, what was that? What was that phrase? Yeah, small time. If anyone was offended, that is their choice. She's right. You are watching that live stream on Instagram voluntarily. You are not required in any way, shape, or form to be there. Okay? If you get offended, that's your choice. And in this half an hour of, as Katie Hopkins describes, just letting rip, she self-described herself. She wasn't talking about anybody else. She wasn't making fun of anybody in particular. She was talking about herself. Okay? She self-described herself as a spaz. And ask yourself this question. How many times? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lana. How many times back in the day, or even currently, have you or I or anyone else used the word spaz? Oh, he's spazzing out about this. They're just, yeah, it's one simple, singular word. And the part that just boggles the mind, she wasn't using that word derogatorily about anyone else. She was talking about herself. Absolutely. And the British, under British speech laws right now, they hauled her in and they're hanging charges over her head. You used words we didn't like. We might have to arrest you, Miss Katie. Shame on you. Like I said, we have the right to freedom of speech under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution in this country. And granted, there's a lot of things about it that could absolutely be improved. Okay? That absolutely could be improved about free speech in America. But in comparison to other places in the world, and Lord knows, Great Britain is the example. I am so glad that we got a First Amendment. It's not perfect, under assault constantly, but compared to what Katie Hopkins and her fellow citizens in Great Britain are going through, oh, baby, we have no idea how good we've got it. Gypsy says, Katie Hopkins suffers from that disease. She has used that word spastic many times on her podcast. Exactly. Exactly. Under article yada yada, subsection yada, under the UK speech laws, Brian, you're a spaz. I'm glad you feel better about yourself, sir. Yeah, this is crazy. TBA says British people are going after anyone and everyone for thinking for themselves these days. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, my gosh. Wow. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The UK is a joke. It's always been a dream of mine to visit Scotland, Ireland, both in the Republic and Northern Ireland. But now, why would I? Yeah. Which, by the way, and I'm not trying to make this one. This topic is more on the question of free speech as opposed to broader political implications. But I tell you what, there's a starting to be developed a very good argument for why the United States ought to disassociate itself in certain respects from the countries of Europe. Some people are talking about that in the context of the NATO alliance and other things. I tell you what, if you want a really good example of why it is we don't share the same values anymore, you just take a look at the case of Katie Hopkins and you begin to understand why. And not just Katie Hopkins. And you all have heard about these reports, but if you haven't, I'll share it with you. Do you know that you could be arrested in Great Britain for standing by silently and praying? That's right. The British police are hauling people into jail for not even speaking verbally. They're just standing by the side of the road praying. And you can get arrested for it. I'm telling you, I mean, more and more and more. And again, I am not saying America is perfect. So plus take this in the context in which I try to present it. But I'll tell you this much. It's becoming painfully obvious to just even the casual observer that the United States, Great Britain, France, and other nations of Western Europe, we do not share the same values anymore. And even if the political leadership changed tomorrow in France, Great Britain, and other Western European nations, I think it would be years, maybe even decades, before the United States and Western Europe could look at each other again and say, okay, we've got this in common, this in common, this in common, this in common. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, the Americans and the British, we have shared history, okay? I get it. But I'm just talking about in general. It's obvious to anybody. We do not share. I may as well throw Canada into it. They're just as bad. Not quite like the mother country, Great Britain, but you're just as bad. You're right. I'm telling you, believe me, when I heard about this story about Katie Hopkins, man, like I said, I know our First Amendment isn't perfect in its application these days, but man, does it make me appreciate the freedoms that I've got. The fact that I can come behind this microphone and in front of this camera and sit down and talk with you guys and anybody else on the internet who chooses to watch this live stream. And, I'm not going to worry about people beating down my door. Unlike Katie Hopkins, who used one word to self-describe herself, and now she's got the potential for charges hanging over her head. I mean, I think of some of our listeners. Katie, if you ever happen to see this live stream, first of all, number one, honey, we love you. And number two, you are welcome in our country anytime you want. We may not be perfect, but hey, you can come over here and pretty much say whatever you like, and God bless you for it. So anyway, no, I saw those two stories, kind of free speech related. I was like, yeah, we need to talk about that. We really do. Which kind of leads me, speaking of freedoms and other things, I found a story the other night, and written by one of my favorite authors, and it's Selena Zito. But I also found one today, written by another one of my favorite authors, and I thought, man, this would be a real good way to lead into that article from Selena Zito. Give me 1 second here, and I'll pull this one up. John Cass, great writer from the Midwest, formerly of the Chicago Tribune, had a great column out the other day on his website, johncass.com. Oh man, this thing is good. This thing is so good. And it's a nice appetizer to lead into that Selena Zito article. Check this out. And then this thing is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to read all of it, but like I said, it serves as the appetizer. The title of his article is The American Spiritual Revival and the Assassination of Charlie Kirk. The barking dogs of angry politics were out in the alleys crying and howling across the nation, all around us. The noise echoing on the walls, and what the Democrats are doing out there is all about ripping at our souls. One cry is the left insisting Jimmy Kimmel is free speech warrior when he is not, and another is that conservative youth organizer Charlie Kirk was responsible for his own murder by the pro-transgender assassin. It's all refrigerator magnet philosophy, all emotion, all of it cheapening the critically important issues facing America, all about obscuring the nature of the leftist violence over the years. I couldn't take it. And I couldn't sleep. Or even nap in my leather chair on Sunday for all the snarling, screeching noise. I really didn't feel like reading after that, so I avoided all news programming on TV and put away the phone, seeking to repair my spirit by watching a few episodes of The Chosen, funded by modern Christians about Jesus Christ and the apostles. John Cass goes on to write, I don't think I'm alone. Perhaps many of you were seeking refuge this weekend too somehow. But that comes with a feeling that I've had about our country for years now. It's a yearning. And since the assassination of youth organizer Charlie Kirk, it has accelerated exponentially, especially among the young. Myself, I am not young, and even I can see it. A spiritual revival is happening in America. It is a second great awakening. Well, I could argue it's a third. And it's happening all around us. You can see this battle of good versus evil even in the tops of trees as the wind grabs them, as their branches shake as we move into October. You know, I've said for a long time, you know, John Cass is a fabulous writer. And like I said, I'm not going to read that whole article, but daggone, he sets this up beautifully. Truly, he does. I think John Cass is right. I think there is a spiritual revival that's taking place. Now, under what form, in what context, how broad is it? I don't know yet. I don't know. But there's something happening out there. And John Cass and I and you are not the only ones that feel this way, by the way. I've got that article from Selena Zito, and I want to put this up on screen and talk about it for a while. And article goes like this. Understand, my friend. Have a good evening, TBA. Take it easy out there, brother. But yeah, this article from Selena Zito is really, really good. Let me get this up on screen for you guys. Headline is, Our Counterculture Revolution is Here, and it is a revival. Again, written by the legendary Selena Zito, we've got the following. Something big is happening with America's youth. It's been building for the past 2 years. It centers on faith, on purpose, and a renewal toward a more traditional American value. This new American youth counterculture movement looks very different from the one that burst onto the scene in the 1960s. 60 years ago, the youth movement on college campuses set out to upend our culture status quo. The rebellion created a seismic cultural and political shift away from post-World War II traditionalism. And over the next 60 years, we inched leftward towards ideologies that began with noble pursuits such as the Civil Rights Act and equal pay for women. Then we went from center-left to leftist to far left. The ideology infiltrated all the dominant cultural centers, government institutions, technology, academia, corporations, Hollywood, and legacy media. And church attendance across all faiths, particularly among our young people, plummeted. Pretty soon, what was once the counterculture was now the status quo. It had the power and the influence on society. It wasn't until COVID and the unbearable totalitarianism of its impact on our society that people began to see that our dominant cultural power base needed a dose of its own medicine. Every counterculture movement is rebellion against the dominant culture. Now, our young people are leading the way by rejecting the conformity demanded by our culture and its elite gatekeepers who crush dissent from anyone who questions their authority. What has been missing from many young people is a relationship with God. I first noticed this soft awakening in 2023 when walking across the Roberto Clemente Bridge here in Pittsburgh and saw hundreds of young people literally jumping in the water while religious music was playing on the shoreline. It was a spontaneous baptism that included hundreds of young people who decided this was the day they would accept Jesus into their lives. The moment was powerful and moving, just as powerful and moving as 2 Sundays ago, when days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, young people showed up at the Sanctuary Church in the Hill District of Pittsburgh. They came by droves to express their faith. Pastor Jason Howard of Sanctuary Church called the moment powerful. Quote, "And what we are witnessing across this country is an awakening with our young people, a true revival," he said. These moments are not anecdotal. 2 recent reports have shown a dramatic shift among young people and their relationship with their faith. First, the Pew Research Center released a report showing that the decades-long decline in Americans identifying as Christian leveled off, followed by a survey from the Barna Group that showed the downward trend is now in full reverse. And who is driving the return to church? These reports show the rise in faith is being driven by those in their 20s and 30s. Quote, "Since the pandemic, millennials and Gen Z have shown significant increases in commitment to Jesus," the Barna Group study reads, while boomers and Gen X, especially women, have remained flat in their commitment levels to Jesus. Last Thursday, a remarkable moment happened on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh where 600 college students showed up for a first ever Pit for Jesus event. There, it was clear we were in the midst of a revival. The event featured nearly 100 baptisms, live worship music, prayer, testimonies by athletes, and a spiritual awakening among young people that was profound to experience. Led by local Pittsburgh ministries, including the Sanctuary, the student-athlete-led movement Pit Purpose worked together to bring the spirit of revival to the campus community, and it worked. Pastor Howard said it began with Jake Overman, a tight end on the Pitt football team. Quote, "He became a passionate Christian after having an encounter with God during college. Since he was transferred to Pitt to play, he has led numerous other players to accept Jesus and get baptized," he said. Quote, "He had a vision of a large worship gathering on campus. Our church was able to partner with him and Life Church in Bridgeville to pull off the event after he was able to get permission from the university to hold a large event on Mazursky Field near the Cathedral of Learning," Overman said. "The Sanctuary Church was able to provide the worship team and the sound and the lighting." Quote, "And Jake's Instagram page, Pit Purpose, spread the word. He also networked with many of the Pitt athletes to spread the word." During the event, there was a passionate worship, and a number of Pitt athletes shared their testimonies of coming to faith in Jesus. Overman then invited people to make a decision to follow Jesus and get baptized. Quote, "We had portable tubs on the field, and over 80 young people came forward to be baptized. There were over 600 in attendance on the field during the event. Jake's hope was that the revival would touch the University of Pittsburgh like it has other campuses recently. That is what is happening on Thursday night." These events are happening under the radar of the national press. However, there is a real counterculture movement happening in our country right now that is centered on faith and purpose. Sunday's memorial service for Charlie Kirk was an example of a large revival. These young people have behaved boldly since the horrid murder, and not in the way our current cultural curators find acceptable, as Erica Kirk said on Sunday. Quote, "These past 10 days after Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting. We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival." And that's the article from Selena Zito. And I want to get your guys' reaction to it. Well, that's a good question. That is an absolutely good question. I'm not sure, my dear. I'm not sure at all. I agree with this. I agree completely. I don't think it's deniable anymore. There's something happening in the country. I mean, like a lot of you, I come from a Judeo-Christian tradition. Okay. Am I the best example of what a Christian ought to be? Absolutely not. I know that. But I know of what she speaks, and I'm telling you right now, there is something happening in this country. And I don't think this fades away with the passing days that go by from the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This was going on before Charlie Kirk ever was was felled by an assassin's bullet. What's going on in the country right now, there are deep and meaningful questions being asked by millennials and by Gen Z. They are looking for something, and they're returning to the faith of their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Where's it going to go? I have no idea. But if this revival, if I may use that term, if this revival leads to individuals being better men and better women, and leads to better neighborhoods where we exercise kindness and compassion toward one another, where we grow stronger in our bonds of community, if it leads to better towns and cities and states and a better nation, then I am all for it. Now, like I said, where does it go from here? I have no idea, but I don't think it can be denied anymore. There is something of a spiritual awakening that's happening in the country. It's becoming obvious to everybody. Everybody's keeping their eye on it. And even people aren't keeping their eye on it. Casual observers are coming to the same conclusion. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here as the years go by. We'll see what kind of fruit it produces. But, I came across that article from Selena Zito, and I thought, yeah, we need to talk about this. Matter of fact, let me do much like I have done before. Let me drop this in chat on the Rumble side and on the YouTube side. If you guys want to read this, you can find it at the Washington Examiner. But yeah, there we go. Okay, there it is. Out there for everybody to read at their own leisure. So yeah, just some things going on. Tell you what, and on that note, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for a little while tonight. As always, it's a lot of fun. Love the chat, love the memes, love the comments, love the energy. You guys are an absolute joy to hang out with. And as we're praying for our nation, pray for each other. Without revisiting names, some people right now are going through a bad patch. Pray for each other. Lana, I absolutely agree with this, dear. I absolutely agree with it. Totally agree with it. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Cajun Corey gifted a membership on YouTube. I hope somebody grabs that. Please do. I think I've got my setup arranged that you can do that. So yeah, if you're out there tonight and you're looking for a membership, then by all means, grab that bad boy. And if not, we'll figure out some way to get it to you. Like I say, I need all the help I can get. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Corey. I genuinely do appreciate it. But yeah, pray for each other. Pray for your neighbors, your neighborhood, and your cities, and everything. The fervent and effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much, as I recall from the good book. So yeah, by all means, pray for each other. And with that, we're going to go ahead and bring the train into the station. As I said, this weekend I'm traveling, so no front porch brunch this Saturday morning. Also, we're going through a long overdue computer upgrade. So next time you see my pretty face, hopefully I'll be more handsome and all that good stuff. Rather doubt that's going to happen, but you never know. Anyway, so yeah, not sure when we're going to be back next week. I'm hoping for Thursday, but I'll let you guys know. So keep your eyes on Twitter. Well, I don't know how much prettier you can get than this, but I mean, yeah, maybe the computer will enhance it and just make it so dazzling that y'all won't quite know what to do. Anyway, so yeah, I love you guys very much. And again, I'm not trying to be sappy or hokey here, but I love you guys very much. You guys have a great rest of your week. You have a great weekend. We will get back together. Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart, my dear. So yeah, love you guys very much. You guys have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And we will get together next week. I'm not sure what day yet, but keep your eyes on Twitter and on your posts on YouTube and other places. We'll let you know just as soon as we're back up. So anyway, love you guys very much. And remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Have a great weekend. I love you guys. Have a good night.